The shores consisted either of steep naked rocks, or a milk-white barren sand, beyond which dreary boundary the surface of the ground seemed covered by a deadly green herbage, with here and there a few grovelling shrubs or dwarf trees scattered at a great distance from each other. This very unfavourable appearance may not, however, originate from the general sterility of the soil, since it was evident, so far as we traversed the sides of the hills, that the vegetation had recently undergone the action of fire. The largest of the trees had been burnt, though slightly. Every shrub had some of its branches completely charred, and the plants lying close to the ground had not escaped without injury. Thus entertaining no very high opinion of the country, but in the hope of meeting some of the wretched inhabitants, we proceeded along the shores of the Sound to the northward, to a high rocky point that attained the name of Point Possession. The surrounding country beyond the point presented a far more fertile and pleasing aspect. So much left unsaid. How they followed a winding track of sand that weaved through charred bowls of peppermints. No sign of the footprints of the wretched. And when they stooped and paused beneath the swollen boughs of Nuitia, they could not know the probing roots were tapping the juice of other plants. They pressed onward. Did the long tendrilled Hardenbergia impede their way? His journal does not say whether they paused a while to admire the spray of purple, or record the gleaming abundance of sundews climbing the scorch-hollowed gums. Who stopped to turn a rock to find this crab-like spider, flat as ship's biscuit, flipping its wafered body away from harm, or tarry long enough to see two geckos slip beneath a stone? Might they have balked a moment at a raven's boyish call, and thought that they were watched? The wattle was no symbol for white men then, and so they passed it by. Then there were footprints, spaced evenly in the sand, a kangaroo traversing the hillside with easy bounds, and the trees opened out into a wide expanse, a wooded sandbank, and the point beyond. They sat, mouthing hunks of salted beef with scurvied gums. Blue wrens scolded. And when they shouldered their packs and turned to walk the final mile, he caught up with them, his eyes aflame with excitement, the ship's naturalist, a bristling cone of banksia in his hand.